You see, there is a power in silence that very few people in this world ever master. Most people think strength is in the shout, in the argument, in the loud retaliation, but they are wrong. True strength is not in how loud you speak, but in how deeply you can remain still when everything inside of you wants to burst out. When people hurt you, when they betray you, when they lie about you, your first instinct is to rise up and defend yourself, to prove them wrong, to show them who you are. But pause. Why do you need to prove to people who are blind to your value? Why do you need to justify your worth to someone who has already decided not to see it? The moment you react, you have given them your power. The moment you argue, you have entered their chaos. But when you cut off silently, when you walk away without explanation, you are teaching them a lesson that no words could ever teach. Your silence is the loudest answer they will ever receive. This is the path of discipline, the path where you do not seek revenge, but you master yourself. Because the greatest battle is not against them. It is against your own impulse to react. Think about this. Every time someone disrespects you, they want to see your fire. They want to pull you into their storm. They want to watch you lose control, because the moment you lose control, they win. But what happens when you give them nothing? When you refuse to be moved? When you just vanish without a word? Suddenly, they are left with themselves. They are left with their own noise. They are left with the silence you left behind, and that silence will echo louder in their mind than anything you could have said. There is a reason why the most powerful warriors are silent. They don't need to shout to be feared. They don't need to argue to be respected. Their presence alone commands honor. And you too can carry that presence, but you must discipline yourself. Do not react. Reaction is weakness. Reaction means they control your emotions. But silence is mastery. Silence says, you cannot touch me, you cannot move me, you cannot pull me into your small world. You see, the one who can remain still while the storm rages around them, that is the one who holds true strength. Anyone can scream, anyone can fight, but very few can stay unmoved, unshaken, untouched. Think of a mountain. No matter how strong the winds blow, the mountain does not bend. It does not chase the wind. It simply stands. That is the strength you must carry. Let them blow their words. Let them create their storms. You remain the mountain. Cutting someone off silently is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Because it means you don't need closure. You don't need to prove your point. You don't need revenge. You simply let go. And that is terrifying to people who thrive on your reaction. But you must also understand this silence is not emptiness. Silence is full of meaning. When you walk away without a word, they will wonder why. They will replay everything in their minds. They will question themselves over and over again. Did I go too far? Did I lose something valuable? Did I push away the very person who cared for me? And that inner questioning, that quiet torment, is far heavier than any argument you could have thrown at them. Silence makes them face themselves. Reaction only distracts them. Reaction gives them an excuse. But silence leaves no excuse, it leaves only truth. You must learn to master this, because the world will always test you. People will always test you. They will poke at your weaknesses, push at your boundaries, laugh at your pain. But your strength is revealed in how little they can affect you. Do not let your energy be wasted on people who don't deserve it. Do not let your mind be disturbed by those who only want to see you fall. When you cut them off silently, you are saying, My peace is more valuable than this argument. My time is more precious than this fight. My life is too short to waste on people who don't see my worth. And listen carefully. Walking away does not mean you lost. Walking away means you refused to participate in their chaos. It means you chose peace over war, wisdom over pride, self-control over reaction. That is victory. Remember this truth: you don't owe anyone your explanation. If someone shows you who they are and they no longer deserve your presence, you don't need to announce your departure. Just leave. The greatest power is in disappearing without notice, because your silence speaks everything they need to hear. Now, some of you may think, but if I don't defend myself, won't people believe their lies? Won't they think I'm weak? No. Those who truly know you don't need an explanation, and those who don't know you will believe what they want regardless of what you say. Your defense is wasted on the wrong ears. The truth does not need defending. It reveals itself in time. Do you know why silence is so powerful? Because it is rare. The world is full of noise, arguments, opinions, gossip, shouting. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants the last word. But very few know the strength of saying nothing. And in a world of endless noise, your silence will be the most powerful sound. Cutting off silently is not about revenge. It is about reclaiming your peace. It is about refusing to be dragged into the mud. It is about saying, I am not for everyone, and that is okay. If you cannot value me, then I will remove myself from your reach. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. And let me tell you something important. The more you grow, the more you will be misunderstood. The stronger your light shines, the more it will attract both love and envy. Some people will celebrate you, and some will despise you for no reason at all. Do not waste your life trying to convince them to love you. Do not waste your energy trying to win them back. If they cannot recognize your worth, your silence will do the work for you. The discipline to walk away without anger, without explanation, without bitterness, that is a mastery very few people ever achieve. But once you master it, you will no longer be chained by the actions of others. You will be free. The truth is this: peace is priceless. And anyone who disturbs your peace has already shown you they do not deserve your place in their life. Protect your energy like a treasure, because it is one. And here is the secret: when you cut people off silently, it is not just about them, it is about you. It is about reminding yourself that you do not need to cling to anyone. It is about proving to yourself that you can let go, that you are not desperate for their attention, their approval, their apology. You are whole within yourself. You are strong enough to walk away with nothing but your peace intact. There is a weight that comes with silence, a weight so heavy that those who once mocked you, those who once underestimated you, will feel it pressing on them long after you are gone. A silence so deep that it shakes their spirit more than your words ever could. When you argue with someone who does not respect you, you are not protecting your dignity, you are lowering it. When you waste energy proving yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you, you are only feeding their ego. But when you step back, when you disappear without anger, you remind them that your presence was never a privilege to abuse. It was a gift they failed to honor. People who thrive on conflict are addicted to reaction. They crave it. They feed off your emotions. The louder you shout, the stronger they feel. But imagine this: what happens when you give them nothing? No reply, no argument, no defense, just silence. Suddenly, The fire they wanted to spark burns out before it even begins. You starve their need for chaos by refusing to play their game. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is strategy. This is mastery of self. I want you to picture this: a warrior walking into battle, sword sharp, armor strong, but then he looks at his opponent and sees nothing but a child throwing stones. Would he draw his sword? Would he waste his strength? No, he would simply walk away. Why? Because his dignity is far too great to fight battles that don't matter. That is how you must see those who try to provoke you. They are not your equals. They are distractions. They want to drag you into the mud because they know they cannot reach the height you are climbing. And when you argue, you step off your mountain to join them in the dirt. But when you stay silent, when you keep climbing, they are forced to look up at you from below. Do not explain yourself. Do not justify yourself. Do not waste your voice on deaf ears, because every word you speak to someone who refuses to listen is energy stolen from your destiny. Your silence is not empty. Your silence is full of strength, full of dignity, full of peace. Understand, this peace is not the absence of noise. Peace is the power to remain unshaken within the noise. And cutting people off silently is one of the highest forms of protecting that peace. You do not owe closure to those who broke you. You do not owe explanation to those who disrespected you. Closure is not something they give you. It is something you create for yourself. And sometimes closure comes in the form of silence, in the form of choosing yourself over them, in the form of walking away without ever looking back. But to do this, you must train your spirit, because the urge to react will come. The desire to prove yourself will whisper. Your pride will push you to speak. But ask yourself, what is stronger? The one who gives in to pride, or the one who conquers it? The true master is the one who rules himself. The true warrior is the one who can conquer his own emotions. So, when they betray you, cut them off silently. When they lie about you, cut them off silently. When they mock you, cut them off silently. Because their actions say everything you need to know, and your silence says everything they need to hear. One day, those you left behind will remember your absence. They will feel the void. They will realize that silence is not emptiness. It is a mirror. And when they look into that silence, they will see themselves clearly. They will see their own actions reflected back at them. And that reflection will be louder than your voice ever could. But do not wait for their realization. Do not wait for their apology. Do not wait for their regret. Walk away for your own peace, not for their awakening. Because sometimes they will never see. Sometimes they will never change. And that is not your burden to carry. You are not here to convince people of your value. You are here to grow, to rise, to master yourself. And every time you choose silence over reaction, every time you cut off without bitterness, you rise higher. The ones who hurt you will expect you to fight, to chase, to defend. But when you don't, when you simply vanish, you become unpredictable. And the most powerful people are the most unpredictable. You are no longer someone they can manipulate, no longer someone they can control. You have broken the chain, and here lies the truth. They cannot fight silence. They cannot twist silence. They cannot argue with silence. Silence is undefeatable. The moment you stop reacting, you stop being a puppet on someone else's strings. They may pull, they may provoke, they may shout, but the strings go slack when you no longer give them your energy. That is when you reclaim your freedom. Look around you. How many people live their entire lives enslaved by the reactions of others. Someone insults them, they explode. Someone doubts them, they argue. Someone mocks them, they defend. Like leaves tossed in the wind, they are carried wherever the storm takes them. That is not freedom. That is slavery to emotion. But the one who can remain calm, the one who can walk away silently, that is the one who has broken free. You no longer live for their approval. You no longer dance to their noise. You live for your own peace, for your own growth, for your own destiny. There is a reason why silence is feared, because silence cannot be controlled. Your words can be twisted. Your arguments can be mocked. Your anger can be used against you. But your silence, it is untouchable. It leaves them powerless. It leaves them restless. It forces them to face themselves. Imagine this: two people stand in a room. One is shouting, fists clenched, voice shaking the walls. The other stands still, calm, unmoved. Who has the greater power? It is not the one who screams. It is the one who remains silent, for silence exposes the emptiness of the noise. Do not waste your fire on battles that do not matter. Every time you react to foolishness, you lower yourself to foolishness. Every time you argue with the blind, you blind yourself. Every time you fight the petty, you become petty. But when you walk away, when you choose silence, you rise above it. You remain untouchable. Understand this deeply. Not every action deserves a reaction. Not every insult deserves your defense. Not every betrayal deserves your energy. Sometimes the greatest response is no response at all. Cutting someone off silently is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the moment you recognize that peace is worth more than presence, that your growth is worth more than their approval, that your silence is worth more than their noise. And yes, it will hurt. Silence is not always easy. Walking away is not always painless. There will be nights when you wonder if you did the right thing, mornings when you replay what you could have said. But remember this: every word you didn't speak saved you energy. Every argument you didn't enter preserved your dignity. Every reaction you refused protected your peace. Silence is an investment in your strength, in your focus, in your destiny. And the return on that investment is priceless. They will expect you to fight. They will expect you to explain. They will expect you to justify. And when you don't, when you cut them off silently, it will unsettle them. Why? Because people who thrive on control fear what they cannot predict, and silence is unpredictable. Some will call you cold, some will call you heartless, some will call you arrogant. Let them. Their words are nothing but smoke. What matters is your peace, your dignity, your self-mastery. Because at the end of the day, your silence is not about them. It is about you. It is about choosing yourself. It is about refusing to waste another breath on people who cannot see your worth. And let me tell you this: the higher you rise, the more people will try to pull you down. The brighter you shine, the more shadows will gather. If you react to every stone thrown, you will never reach the top. But if you remain silent, if you keep climbing, one day they will look up and realize that all their noise was beneath you. You cannot control what people do to you, but you can always control what you do with it. Because the moment you react, you are handing them the keys to your inner world. You are opening the door to your mind, your emotions, your peace, and saying, "Here, take control of me." Do you see how dangerous that is? You become a prisoner in your own heart, chained not by your enemies, but by your inability to stay still. But silence is the breaking of chains. Silence is the refusal to let them in. Silence is the guardian of your soul. Let them talk, let them mock, let them throw stones of rumor, of gossip, of lies. Stones cannot reach the one who has already risen above the ground. A lion does not stop walking because dogs bark. The eagle does not descend from the sky because the crows are cawing. And you, why should you descend to argue with those beneath your purpose? There is a secret you must understand. The people who push you hardest, the people who provoke you most, are often the ones who fear you. They sense your strength, but they cannot touch it. So what do? They poke, they prod, they provoke, hoping that you will expose your weakness. And the moment you react, they feel justified. They say, "See, I knew I could get to them." But when you cut them off silently, when you offer no reaction, you leave them starving. You deny them the satisfaction they crave. And in that denial, you win. Every time you hold back your reaction, you grow stronger. Every time you choose silence, you train your spirit. Every time you walk away, you rise higher. It is a discipline, and discipline builds empires. You must also realize silence is not emptiness. It is not nothingness. It is full. It is heavy. It is thunder disguised as stillness. When you walk away without a word, you leave behind an echo that will ring in their ears long after you're gone. They will wonder, why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you explain? Why didn't you stay? That wondering will haunt them. Words can be forgotten, but silence lingers. Silence becomes memory. Silence becomes weight. And in your silence, you are not only protecting yourself, you are also sending a message that says, I will not waste my breath on you. I will not descend to your level. I value my peace too much to trade it for your chaos. This message requires no explanation, no justification, because silence cannot be misquoted. Silence cannot be twisted. Silence is pure. And yes, they may call you cold. They may say you don't care. But understand, when you value your peace, when you protect your energy, people who once fed off your reaction will starve. And in their starvation, they will call you names. Let them. Their words are nothing but noise bouncing against a mountain. The mountain does not answer the echo. It simply stands. You must become like that mountain, still, strong, immovable, unshaken by the winds of insult, the storms of betrayal, the noise of jealousy. Let them howl, let them rage. You remain unmoved. Cutting off silently is also love for yourself, because you are saying, I choose me, I choose my growth, I choose my peace. You are no longer handing over your happiness for the approval of others. You are no longer negotiating your value with people too blind to see it. And remember this, those who truly love you, those who truly respect you, do not force you to react. They do not push you into chaos. They protect your peace. They honor your silence. They understand your absence. So when someone constantly drags you into storms, that is not love, that is control. Cut them off silently, for control has no place in a free soul. Do not think silence makes you invisible. In fact, silence makes you unforgettable. People remember the one who walked away without a word far more than the one who argued endlessly. Your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. And in this world, where everyone is shouting, where everyone is reacting, where everyone is trying to prove themselves, you will stand out not by being louder, but by being quieter, by being still, by being calm when others are chaotic, by being silent when others are screaming. That silence will set you apart. That silence will become your strength, because there is no weapon more destructive to your spirit than wasted words. Every time you explain yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you, you are throwing pearls into the mud. Every time you defend yourself against someone who has already judged you, you are pouring water into a broken vessel. And every time you react to those who provoke you, you are giving them exactly what they want, your energy. Guard your energy as you would guard treasure, because it is treasure. Once spent, you cannot reclaim it. When you react, you bleed energy. When you argue, you drain yourself. When you shout, you weaken your inner foundation. But when you stay silent, when you walk away, your energy remains yours. Your treasure remains safe. The greatest battles are not fought with fists or with words. They are fought in the silence of the mind. The true warrior is not the one who destroys his enemies. It is the one who conquers himself, the one who refuses to bow to the chaos outside because he has mastered the storm within. When someone insults you, they are not really insulting you. They are revealing themselves. They are showing you the bitterness inside of them, the poison they carry, the wounds they refuse to heal. If you react, you drink from their poison. If you argue, you join them in their bitterness. But if you stay silent, if you cut them off, you are saying, I refuse to taste your poison. I choose my own peace. There is incredible power in not saying what you could have said, in not doing what you could have done, in holding back when everything inside of you wants to burst forth. That restraint is not weakness. That restraint is mastery. And here, this carefully, silence is not passive. Silence is active. It is a choice. It is a weapon. It is a shield. And in many ways, it is louder than sound. Because silence forces reflection. Silence forces awareness. Silence forces people to see what they have done. When you cut them off silently, you do not slam the door in anger. You simply close it with peace. No noise, no argument, no drama. Just a quiet ending. And that ending will echo louder in their hearts than all the words you could have shouted. Think of the tree. When autumn comes, it does not argue with the leaves that are falling. It does not cry for them to stay. It does not cling to what has already chosen to leave. The tree stands in silence, letting go. And by letting go, it makes space for new life in the spring. You must become like that tree. When people show you they no longer respect your presence, let them fall. When people reveal their betrayal, let them fall. When people poison your peace, let them fall. And do it in silence with dignity, because your silence is the soil in which your new growth will rise. Do not react. Cut them off silently, because not everyone who walks with you is meant to stay with you. Some people are lessons. Some are warnings. Some are temporary visitors on the journey of your life. Do not chain yourself to those who were never meant to walk the whole road with you. And yes, silence takes strength. It takes discipline. It takes maturity, because the ego craves reaction. The ego wants to prove. The ego wants to win. But what does the ego ever win? A louder argument, a temporary satisfaction. No, the ego wins nothing of true value. But the spirit wins in silence. The spirit grows in silence. The spirit becomes free in silence. Do not let your ego drag you into battles that your spirit has already risen above. Do not let your pride make you explain yourself to those who will never understand. Do not let your emotions hand over your power to those who seek to control you. The path of silence is not the easy path. It is the higher path. It is the path of those who know their worth, who do not need to prove it. It is the path of those who understand that dignity is not in noise, but in stillness. And here is the paradox. The less you react, the more powerful you become. The more silent you are, the more your presence speaks. The quieter you are, the louder your absence becomes. Let them say what they will. Let them believe what they want. Let them misunderstand you. Because your life is not lived in their opinions. Your truth is not found in their words. Your worth is not measured by their acceptance. You are above that. You are beyond that. Because reaction is a chain, but silence is freedom. When you react, you chain yourself to their actions, to their words, to their opinion. You become entangled in their drama, locked in their storm. But when you stay silent, when you walk away, you cut the chain. You say, I do not belong to this. I belong to peace. And make no mistake, silence is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is strength. It is a victory of the spirit over the noise of the world. It is the moment you prove that nothing outside of you has the power to shake what is within you. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed how the loudest people often have the weakest arguments? How the ones who shout the most are usually the ones with the least wisdom? Noise is a disguise. Shouting is often a mask for insecurity. But silence needs no disguise. Silence does not pretend. Silence simply is. And in that stillness, it is stronger than any argument. When you cut someone off silently, you are not just walking away from them, you are walking toward yourself. You are walking toward your own growth, your own healing, your own destiny. Because every moment you waste reacting to the wrong people is a moment stolen from your purpose. And time, once lost, cannot be reclaimed. You see, the people who provoke you, the ones who hurt you, they want to see your reaction because your reaction feeds their ego. They want to see you broken, angry, shouting, because that makes them feel powerful. But when you remain calm, when you do not react, you expose their emptiness. Your silence becomes a mirror, and in that mirror, they see their own weakness. Silence is not just a lack of words. Silence is a teacher. Silence teaches you patience. Silence teaches you control. Silence teaches you how to master yourself. And the one who has mastered silence has mastered life. Do not be afraid to disappear. Do not be afraid to walk away without notice. Do not be afraid to leave quietly. Because the truth is, people value you more when they feel your absence than when they take your presence for granted. Your silence will remind them of what they lost more than your words ever could. And yes, they may try to bait you. They may try to drag you back in. They may try to provoke a reaction so they can feel alive again. But do not give them that satisfaction. Keep your silence. Protect your peace. Hold your ground, because silence is not about them. It is about you. It is about proving to yourself that you no longer need to fight every battle. You no longer need to chase every person. You no longer need to justify your worth. You already know who you are. You already know what you carry. You already know your value. And when you know your value, you do not waste it on people who cannot see it. Think of gold. Gold does not beg to be valued. It does not shout its worth. It simply is. And those who recognize its worth treasure it, while those who do not walk past it blindly. But whether they see it or not, its value never changes. And so it is with you. Your value does not decrease because someone fails to see it. Your worth does not vanish because someone refuses to honor it. So why argue? Why explain? Why react? Be like gold, silent, unshaken, valuable. Remember this, the most dangerous person is the one who has nothing to prove. Because you cannot control them. You cannot provoke them. You cannot use their pride against them. They are free. And freedom is frightening to those who thrive on control. This is why silence is feared. Because silence means you are no longer under their grip. Silence means you cannot be manipulated. Silence means you are free, and when you are free, nothing can move you. No insult, no betrayal, no rejection. You stand firm like a mountain. And when the storms rage, the mountain does not chase the wind. It simply remains. Do not react. Cut them off silently. Let them shout into the emptiness. Let them rage against your absence. Let them feel the weight of your silence. And while they waste their energy, you will conserve yours. While they fight meaningless battles, you will rise higher. While they burn in their chaos, you will walk in peace. Because peace is the true victory, and silence is the path to that victory.